Namaskar, Jai Hind, Jai Bharat, and welcome to Dev Talks. This is Aadi Achint. Iran war. From one side to the other, everything is just going hunky dory. People just don't know kidhar pe kya hai. Iran says it's winning, USA says it's winning. What's exactly happening is somewhere in the middle because एक क्रॉस पॉइंट पे अभी पूरी वॉर आके खड़ी हुई है कि आगे क्या होता है. We need to understand little bit of the background and little bit of the impact कि होगा क्या geopolitically, what will be the impact, and for that मेरे साथ है Major General Sanjay Sharma sir for the second time on the channel. Namaskar sir, welcome to Dev Talks once again. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Adi. Thank you so much.
So sir, how would
Adi,
you kind of what अभी जो what's happening around us? It's quite crazy and unprecedented. Europe felt this when Russia-Ukraine war हुआ था, so everybody in Europe was a little worried, and they this thing, and people sitting in this continent didn't really feel that much of the impact of the Russia Ukraine war. Yahan par now this is closer to home and the impact is being felt. Now how do you kind of look at this scenario, sir?
Adi, the dimensions are totally different this time around. Most of the wars, the start is unpredictable. Here, the start was predictable. The scenario building beyond that predictability and the start is totally different. You have to check the news every 10 minutes. You have to go and into the analysis every 1 hour to find out what is happening. Has anything changed in between or not? You have to constantly monitor the effect on global economy, on stock markets, on the number of body bags which are there in various sites, and what next could be there. What are the challenges, and whether each side is ready to face those challenges or not. सबसे पहले हम बात करते हैं कि आगे हो क्या सकता है. I've got a very different theory. I feel like last time we had spoken in October 23 regarding the very balanced outlook after the 7th October attack by Hamas on Israel. And we had gone into detail about the origin of Israel and the origin of the local community, which is now Palestine and the neighborhood. 3 years later, 2.5 years later, let me start with a totally divergent theory of that area. Israel is the most important creation of the rich billionaire Jews of USA and Europe post World War II. It is a sentry, a permanent, powerful sentry placed in amidst all that golden oil by the USA and the Western powers to keep everybody on their toes and to ensure the petrodollar flows without any hitch. Without Israel, there will be a totally different dynamics of this entire area. The present scenario would never occur had Israel not been there. So आगे क्या होने वाला है with this confident, belligerent Israel of today? Israel is a very small country, hardly a few cities, not much manufacturing except defense and some irrigation. And the population growth has not been commensurate to the post World War time it has spent being in that area, because most Jews still continue to live in USA and Europe, and the ones who are here are great people, great fighters, very uh, always ready to defend their motherland and take on anybody through their better intelligence, their the resources, and their ability to not blink an eye when attacking. They don't look at repercussions. Why? Because the might of USA is always at them. अगर बड़ा भाई हमारे साथ है तो हमें किस बात का डर है, हम कहीं भी जा सकते हैं. अगर हमारे रिसोर्स कम हो गए तो बड़ा भाई हमें वो दे देगा. But notwithstanding what has happened, कि ये टाइमिंग जो है वॉर की ये क्यों है। अच्छा खासा चल रहा था, देयर वर टॉक्स गोइंग ऑन, the talks were there in Muscat, they were there in the Geneva talks were there. उससे पहले पिछले साल also we had talks till on 12th of June 2025. Another interesting but behind the parda actor called IAEA emerged and said कि 20 साल में पहली बार there is something fishy going on in Iran. And they had been doing the inspections every year since the time the agreement had been reached with the Americans. 12th को ये हुआ, the talks had just concluded and next round was about to start. And 13th को Israel attacked, June. And the 12-day war started. Start हो गया. USA came in with its might. They said we'll destroy the nuclear installations. E-2 bombers were flown in. They came in, bombed everything out of shape. The response was feeble. It was not the response what we are seeing today. I'm sure ईरान के पास उस समय भी सब कुछ था, उसने यूज नहीं किया. The response was feeble, and after 12 days धमकी देने के बाद, डिस्ट्रॉय करने के बाद, Israel and USA stopped the attacks and the life continued and the talks continued. This year, again, the talks were continuing. The Omanese ambassador to the UN hosted the talks in his house in Geneva. And things, the statements which were coming were quite positive. कि हाँ, nuclear वाला सामान भी हम we will give you, provided you ensure that the nuclear energy is provided by you. Incidentally, the only nuclear reactor which is of civil usage in Bushehr is of Russian origin. But earlier, USA in 1960s had provided nuclear energy as part of an agreement after 1956. So nuclear energy मिल जाती है. Iran is willing to give away its nuclear, whatever it has declared. जो undeclared है उसका तो किसी को नहीं पता. And Iran has, over a period of last 20-30 years, constructed a series of underground cities. उसी में से ये सारे के सारे ड्रोन्स आ रहे हैं, उसी में से निकल के ये सब मिसाइल्स आ रही हैं. And they are very difficult to bomb. They are half a mile inside. So they have been preparing very confidently, knowing that someday these big powers are going to attack them. So they have to be prepared. It is a matter of existence. But the big powers need to also understand that in the entire 5,000 years of Iran history, two things have always pivoted. Number one, the geography. Iran boasts of a wonderful geography. It's a huge country. It has got 93 million residents, and the areas are divided into densely populated and sparsely populated. It has got a circle of rugged hills with a plateau in the center. It has got a very rugged coastline which is more than 1,000 kilometers. The entire Middle East faces Iran coastline, entire Middle East and beyond. Because right next to Short of Gwadar, the Iran coastline is there starting from Kuwait. और ये आसान वाली नहीं है. It is, you can't, like the talk which is going on कि हम इसके ऊपर airborne 82 AB will come and assault it, or we will go in with Boxer and Tripoli. वो आसान नहीं है. Because the coastline is not conducive to hovercraft landing there, and then the classical beach operations going on, which happened in Normandy in World War II. ये वो coastline नहीं है. The islands which they are talking about, Kharg, Most important. Yesterday also, Trump has said कि खर्ग हम ले लेंगे and then we will control the oil of Iran. The bigger aim, which I'll come to later, is to control oil of this region. Out of 103 million barrels of oil which are pumped out in across the world in a single day, 40 odd barrels come from this region. 40 odd million barrels, which means the the USA is able to control about 45-46% of entire oil अगर ये ईरान उनके कब्जे में आ जाता है, which means in future 100% oil will be sold in dollars, and the price will not be decided by OPEC, the price will be decided by USA. So everything is at stake. अब अगर वो कहते हैं कि अगर शुरू कर ही दिया है, खत्म नहीं किया तो बहुत गड़बड़ होगा. This entire next 100 years की planning will go for a 6. China imports 90% of its oil from Iran and this region. In fact, ईरान का 90% ऑयल चाइना को जाता है, युआन में जाता है. If USA controls this, China will have to pay in dollars. The balance of power will shift drastically. So the stakes are very high for USA. वो पहुंच तो गया. After the first 12-day war, it was keeping quiet, concentrating on sanctions and Greenland and Venezuela and everything. But मेरे ख्याल से Venezuela gave it the confidence कि अगर हमने regime change कर दिया, जो इसराइल ने बोला हम कर देंगे, and they did it. On day one, they killed Ayatollah Khomeini and 48 top leaders. So they assumed कि ये टॉप लीडरशिप हमने पहले दिन उड़ा दी, उसके बाद it's a cakewalk. They will do whatever we tell them to do. Except that the part 2 of the 5,000-year-old history of Iran came into play. Iran has never been conquered. Iran has sent back everybody from, Alexander the Great to the Mongols. Everybody has come, and ultimately they had to go. With the local Iranis continuing to rule. There were Zoroastrians. Then they became the official religion became Shia. And then oil was discovered. British took over this oil. And in 1956, when the then Prime Minister nationalized the oil, there was a shockwave everywhere. And as a result, the sanctions and other things started. Usse pehle, people are not interested in oil. It was a huge ancient civilization to be respected, and the terrain was not giving them much till oil came. अब क्या हो गया है कि till a few years back, the Middle East was on a very comfortable terms with Iran. ईरान इराक का एक युद्ध हुआ था 7-8 years, but there was no territory lost or gained. It was like एक border के ऊपर फायर कर रहे हैं एक दूसरे के ऊपर. It did not make any material difference either to Iran or to Iraq. Then Kuwait happened, and an entry was made to basically release Kuwait from the clutches of Iraq. And then Iraq happened. Nuclear threat, same thing which is going on today. Iran nuclear threat. That time it was Iraq nuclear threat. The whole NATO and everybody else got together and they finished a beautiful country called Iraq. And today Iraq is nowhere on the scene. Huge country, lots of resources, uska apna kuch nahi. Come back. Some peace was, negotiated between Saudi Arabia, Israel, and the areas around it, because the Middle East also felt कि अब हमारे पास ऑयल कभी ना कभी खत्म होना है. तो क्या किया जाए कि जिससे हम आगे अगले जनरेशन को 200-300 साल और चला सके। तो दे टुक द एग्जांपल ऑफ सिंगापुर। सिंगापुर जब मलेशिया से या मलाया से इंडिपेंडेंस ली थी, और वो है कितना, 30 किलोमीटर बाय 30 किलोमीटर, दिल्ली से छोटा है वो सिंगापुर। बट देन सिंगापुर बिकेम अ टैक्स फ्री हेवन, इट बिकेम अ पोर्ट ऑफ कॉल फॉर एवरीबडी, एंड इट बिकेम अ फाइनेंशियल हब which gift city is being trade in Gujarat. ये करने से it started getting so much of money that today it's one of the top GDP countries. So rightfully the Middle East said हमें भी बनाना है. So Doha, Abu Dhabi, Dubai, all these cities came up and they attracted all the money from Europe, from rich people in USA, and interestingly, a lot of Iranian rich people money is also in Dubai and the areas around it. And then other day हमारी बात हो रही थी कि ये सब कुछ हो गया तो why is Iran attacking the Middle East, जो उसके नेबर्स हैं, जो जोग्राफिकली उससे दूर नहीं जा सकते, वही स्ट्रेट ऑफ हॉर्मूज उन दोनों के बीच में रहेगा, द पर्शियन गल्फ विल बी देयर, और ये लैंड जो कोस्ट लाइन है उसको चेंज नहीं कर सकते, तो इनको क्यों अटैक कर रहा है? इसके लिए वी नीड टू गो इनटू द माइंड्स. सो नाउ आई विल डिस्कस विद यू द three important minds of this entire war which is going on. Before we come to the bigger picture which I was mentioning to you. Israel. Let's talk about the mind of Israel. Now, Israel को सऊदी अरेबिया से आफ्टर द रीसेंट पैक्ट इतना खतरा नहीं है. उसको मिडल ईस्ट जो यूएई या कुवैत या इराक से खास खतरा नहीं है. Israel is worried about three people who are constantly troubling him. From Lebanon, it is the Hezbollah. From Gaza, Hamas. And third, Houthis, which can affect its movement across Red Sea. Ultimately, it is co-located with Egypt, so Suez Canal affects it. And Mediterranean उसको चाहिए था. So an opportunity was handed over by Hamas on 7th October by carrying out a brilliant attack which caught Israel napping. कई सौ लोग मर गए, और उसके बाद we had discussed 2.5 years back also, आगे क्या होगा? आगे it was unimaginable. As per Al Jazeera today morning, over 72,000 people have been killed in Gaza in last 2.5 years. 72,000 have been killed by Israel. No other country is involved. It's 1-to-1 between Israel and Hamas. Hamas has been busted out of shape, but the idea remains. Idea of Hamas remains. When it will come up, we don't. It is a question mark. But Hamas is not dead. Its immediate irritants and the common population who is staying in Gaza, they are dead. Second was Hezbollah. Hezbollah had tried something in 2023 also, 24 also, and they were suitably admonished, and lots of rockets and artillery was fired on them. They became quiet over a period of time. But Israel के माइंड में वो खतरा है. गाजा हमास को ठीक कर दिया, लेबनान खतरा है, और खतरा है ईरान जो सप्लाई करता है हूथीस को भी, हमास को भी और हिजबुल्लाह को भी. सो द मदर, द रूट ऑफ द प्रॉब्लम हैज टू बी टेकन केयर ऑफ. प्लस अगर ईरान न्यूक्लियर हो गया, then existence of Israel is question mark. पहले Israel used to openly in the world forum target Pakistan because वो so called Islamic bomb उनके पास था. But Pakistan was under control of USA. Iran is under nobody's control. ईरान के पास न्यूक्लियर आ गया और उसने दो तीन न्यूक्लियर बॉम्ब डाल दिए इसराइल पे. इसराइल विल सीज टू एग्जिस्ट इन इट्स प्रेजेंट फॉर्म. तो खतरा है. सो इसराइल को मौके की तलाश थी. हमास ने दे दिया मौका, गाजा सॉर्ट आउट हो गया. अभी ईरान ने मौका नहीं दिया. 12 डे वॉर हुआ, यूएसए वेंट बैक. परहैप्स इसराइल डिड नॉट लाइक इट. चल रहा था अच्छा गाजा, तुमने बंकर बर्स्टिंग भी कर दिया था, तुम चलने देते उसको. Why relieve the pressure and allow them, almost 8-9 months to recover, recoup and plan for the next attack जो आना ही है. ईरान को तो पता है वो आना है. सो इसराइल के माइंड के ऊपर था कि जो मौका मिलता है. आईएईए ने 12 जून को बोला 25 में कि उसके पास इराक 20 ईयर्स के बाद वहां कुछ मिला है. तो 13 तारीख को उन्होंने अटैक कर दिया. अभी जब टॉक्स आर गोइंग ऑन वेल और टॉक्स ठीक हो जाती हैं और एक डील हो जाती है यूएसए से, देन इजराइल इन फ्यूचर विल नॉट हैव द अपॉर्चुनिटी टू डिस्ट्रॉय व्हाट इट फील्स शुड नॉट बी देयर इन ईरान. तो इसलिए ईरान ने 28 ऑफ फरवरी को यह अटैक लॉन्च कर दिया. आई वुड पर्सनली फील कि इवन यूएसए वाज नॉट प्रिपेयर्ड ऑफ दिस सडन अटैक बाय इजराइल, क्योंकि यूएसए केम आफ्टर 2-3 days, पहले से नहीं थे. ठीक है, ships were moving, the carrier battle groups were moving, but no immediate air raids were done by USA on 28th of February. So it was a initiative taken by USA, by Israel, under the confidence कि USA तो अपना बड़ा भाई है, वो तो आ ही जाएगा. So that is the mind of Israel. एक चीज इसमें और है इसराइल की, is about the Netanyahu factor. Now, Netanyahu was a prime minister who was, I'll say, medium popular in 2023. There were a lot of talks कि इसको change करें, नहीं करें, whatever things were going on. He was not a mass leader at that time. But he has been a great warrior for Israel. He has done so much as a commando when he was in service. So there's a lot of respect for him. And can communicate very well, can be very friendly, and can be very hard in decision making. 2023 में he was caught napping. अटैक हो गया इसराइल के ऊपर और Israel could not retaliate the same day. That in history will go as a red line or red point against the prime ministership of Netanyahu. And he doesn't want to leave that, harsh mark on his history when he was the prime minister of Israel. So he is looking for an opportunity. मैंने अपनी इमेज को ठीक करना है. So he did part 1, Gaza. 2.5 years of pounding. Even now, जब गाजा के पास कुछ नहीं है, अब भी वहां पे 6-10 लोग रोज मर रहे हैं. जो मिलता है उसको उड़ा दो. बट हिजबुल्ला और हुतीस और ईरान अभी भी वही है. सो द मदर source had to be taken care of. Netanyahu is determined, as long as I am alive, as long as I am the prime minister, ईरान को भी हम गाजा बना देंगे, which is not possible geographically, but this is mind of Israel. Now let's come to the second mind, which is of USA. If I say that Israel is a creation of USA, or at least the Jewish billionaires of USA, to keep a check on this very sensitive oil-rich area, then USA has to defend it. But इस केस में वो डिफेंड नहीं था. It has to now join the offensive started by Israel. और वो कर रहा है. They have suddenly realized that the battle which they felt after Venezuela, जो एक दिन में खत्म हो जाएगा या मैक्सिमम 3-4 दिन मॉपिंग अप में लगेंगे, वो तो चली जा रहा है. Iran has no intention of stopping it. Iran has adequate reserves built over last 20-30 years, and more so in last 8-10 months with the help of raw materials from perhaps Russia and perhaps China, because बैलिस्टिक मिसाइल बनाने में मसाला लगता है, चीज़ें लगती हैं, कहीं ना कहीं से आती हैं. तो अगर जून के बाद ईरान को लगा कि मुझे ये चाहिए, तो खाली जो जहाज आ रहा है ऑयल भरने के लिए, वो सामान लेके आता है और फिर ऑयल भर के ले जाता है. और अंडरग्राउंड टनल सिटीज के अंदर वो असेंबली होती रहती है. पीपल आर वेरी बिजी. सो दे have joined in because of these two reasons. Petrodollar we have already discussed. The moment USA controls this entire area, it controls once again Suez, it controls the Strait of Hormuz, then it dictates forever. जब तक वो सूरज चांद रहेगा, ऐसे ही जब तक ऑयल रहेगा, तब तक यूएसए ऑयल के प्राइस डिक्टेट करेगा, किसको देना है या नहीं देना वो डिक्टेट करेगा. द ऑप्शंस टू अदर्स बिकम वेरी लिमिटेड. कोई रशिया कैन ओनली गिव इन यूरोप and maybe a little to China and other countries, to India. But mainly, people have to come back to the Middle East to buy oil. Venezuelan oil, till the time जो रिलायंस की नई रिफाइनरी बन रही है, कुछ और रिफाइनरीज बनेंगी, it is not suitable or not economical enough unless it is sold at $80-90 a barrel forever. So Middle East, USA said, ये मौका है, इसराइल ने ओपनिंग दी है, अब जाके हथौड़ा मैं मार. Next is, we must understand कि यूएसए ने कितनी लड़ाइयां लड़ी हैं आज तक अपनी धरती पर, since its independence. एक भी नहीं. It only goes to other places, asserts or provokes or motivates, and a ladai is created. And for example, this particular ladai and the ladai which is going on in Ukraine, इन दोनों लड़ाइयों में इतना गोला बारूद, असला, मिलिट्री इक्विपमेंट खर्च हो गया है, which has to be replaced. Who will replace it? USA has got all the European nations to contribute towards the very just fight of Ukraine against the adversary Russia without making it a NATO member. उन सब का भी जो गोला बारूद था और वेपन सिस्टम था यहाँ पे खर्च करवा दिया, अपना भी दे दिया. Somebody has to pay for it. Somebody has to replenish it. The war may keep going on. Similarly, here in this area, whether USA and allies win or not, whether Iran wins, whether nothing happens, दुनिया भर में इस फ्यूचर डर को एड्रेस करने के लिए खूब गोला बारूद, मिलिट्री इक्विपमेंट, एम्यूनिशन, ड्रोन्स, एयरक्राफ्ट, सबमरीन सब बिकेगा, खूब बिकेगा. And anybody who's got this industry will make billions. And today, who has got this industry? Mainly USA. Even if some things are being made elsewhere, even in India, Brazil, low cost of manpower, made by American companies, but the things are getting sold in dollars. So, understand the mind of USA in joining Israel in taking on Iran. Next is the mindset USA वाले में. President Trump sees a bigger picture always. ग्रीनलैंड से यूएसए को क्या फायदा है, कनाडा 51st स्टेट बन जाए तो बिगर यूएसए क्या कर सकता है, दुनिया को कंट्रोल कर सकता है. दिस ऑयल शुड बी अमेरिकन, एवरीथिंग विच इज गुड रेयर अर्थ शुड बी अमेरिकन. उस बिगर पिक्चर के अंदर he never realized or thought कि Iran is going to attack the major cities wherever the bases of USA are. So अभी right now it is grappling how to address this. I hope you are aware कल रात को क्या हुआ है. कल रात को Iran has issued a threat कि 2 बजे इंडिया टाइम, 12 बजे ईरान टाइम और सुबह के 4 बजे यूएसए टाइम तक अगर यूएसए ने माफी नहीं मांगी, 2 यूनिवर्सिटी जो कल सुबह बॉम्ब हुई हैं इन ईरान, वन इन तेहरान, वन इज इन आई थिंक सफान, 2 यूनिवर्सिटीज दबाव कर दी हैं कल बॉम्बिंग में. ईरान ने सेड माफी मांगो या वी विल डिस्ट्रॉय योर 9-10 यूनिवर्सिटीज which are in Middle East. And it has issued a warning that anybody who goes to these universities, 1 kilometer दूर हो जाओ, like it had issued a warning for the banks. So this is the latest which I am sharing with you. और ये आज रात को पता लगेगा कि इस पे क्या होगा. Next is the mind of Iran. I have already discussed the geography and the historical resilience of Iran, which people took it for granted कि यार इतना पिछली बार किया, कुछ नहीं कर पाया, इस बार क्या करेगा. सो ईरान ने क्या किया, ईरान ने पूरी तैयारी की. ईरान में thousands of rockets, missiles, including खोखा. खोखा मीन्स जिसके अंदर एम्यूनिशन नहीं है. Drones which are not kamikaze, not carrying ammunition. Missiles which are just going there, doesn't have anything in them. And it flew them. The very confident American AD system and the famous Iron Dome of Israel with its classic systems of weapons. उन सब ने खूब tomahawks and स्लिंग ऑफ डेविड और सब कुछ उन्होंने किया. करोड़ों रुपए की उन्होंने काउंटर ईरानी मिसाइल्स और ईरानी ड्रोन्स उन्होंने फायर किया. सर 3-4 दिन की बात है, करते जाओ. 3-4 दिन से 10 दिन हुआ, करते जाओ. They have depleted their stock of air defense considerably. More than 60-70% ऑलरेडी फायर कर दिए. और ईरान ने तो असली चीजें भेजी नहीं थी. उन्होंने छोटी चीजें भेज के उनके करोड़ों की चीजें खत्म कर दी. एंड नाउ ईरान हैज कम आउट लास्ट 1 वीक ऑफ द एक्चुअल मसाला, जो एक्चुअल चीजें उसके पास हैं विच कैन डू मेजर डैमेजेस. पहले इट वाज डूइंग इट इंटरमिटेंटली. 5-6 फेक भेजी, 3-4 असली भेजी. नाउ इट हैज गॉट द वेयरविदऑल. द रेजिस्टेंस हैज रिड्यूस्ड. The famous Iron Curtain Iron Dome has demolished. Abhi Israel is running for cover. People are sitting. You see the international channels of Australia, France, Al Jazeera, and Japan, and so many other countries, Germany. The reporters are saying कि वो सब बंकर में बैठे हुए हैं. अपने घर के सेंटर में एक कमरा अंडरग्राउंड बनाया हुआ है, घर के अंदर ही, which is a bunker. And Israelis are sitting in those bunkers in this modern Iron Dome scenario. So Iran has played its card very well. Second, ईरान ने कहा कि हमने सारे इकोनॉमिक टारगेट्स या जहां जहां भी यूएसए के साथ आपका कोई बेसिस हैं, वी विल टारगेट दोज एंड वी विल डिटर यू फॉर फ्यूचर कि यूएसए के साथ कुछ मत करना, तुम करोगे तो हम फिर मारेंगे. Anything to do with USA We will not accept. What had happened in June after the 12-day war? President Trump had gone to the Middle East, right? You know the deals which were signed: 10-year deals, $600 billion deal with Saudi Arabia, $1.2 trillion deal with Qatar, $1.3 trillion deal with UAE. It's all documented. And these were for 5, 6 major areas. One is AI, one is semiconductors, one is energy, and then the security cover, and one odd thing. तो ये सब कुछ इतने जो 2-3 ट्रिलियन डॉलर की जो डील थी 10 साल की, ईरान इज टारगेटिंग दैट कि मैं इतनी तबाही मचाऊंगा। अमेरिका का जो आपको कॉन्फिडेंस दे रखा है कि तुम मेरे संरक्षण में हो, आई एम देयर टू टेक केयर ऑफ यू, दैट myth is broken so that the Middle East goes back on those deals and looks for new partners. So it's a very big game. It is, yeah, I may be wrong, but I feel कि ये बहुत बड़ा game.
The Middle East is funding the
Next,
American war, sir. Saudis and Emiratis are paying Americans for this war.
I'm sure they are.
They are. They are. Why would they
Your
go back?
level of research is phenomenal.
Yeah, they are, sir. पैसे दे रहे हैं वो तो इनके लिए लड़ो मारो 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 इनको. They actually enjoy the breaking of Iran.
You know the circle of petrodollars?
Yeah.
Petrodollars is कि तेल बेचा, जिसने खरीदा उसने डॉलर खरीदा आपको देने के लिए। आप जो मिडिल ईस्ट को जो डॉलर मिले, आपने वो जाके ट्रेजरी बॉन्ड्स या बाकी बॉन्ड यूएसए के खरीद लिए, डॉलर वापस उनको दे दिए। और डॉलर्स आर ओनली प्रिंटेड, there is no gold against the dollars, unlike Indian rupee, which has got some percentage of gold before we print any, money. So petrodollar is a very good rotation between the Middle East and USA, and as you are very rightly saying, it is being funded. Now, तीसरी चीज जो उन्होंने सोची थी वो थी कि अटैक तो आएगा, कब आएगा ये नहीं पता, पर अटैक आएगा। एंड दे न्यू बाय पास्ट एक्सपीरियंस कि जब भी टॉक्स होती हैं अटैक आ जाता है। 25 में भी टॉक्स के एकदम अगले दिन अटैक आया, इस बार भी अगले दिन अटैक आया, एंड अटैक्स वर ऑलवेज इनिशिएटेड बाय इजराइल and then joined by USA. So they were ready for this. And if they were ready for this, they were also ready for the leadership being taken. So today you're not dealing with one Iran, you are dealing with 31 Irans. Each Suba, yeah, I'll say state within Iran has got leadership which is already predefined कि ये अभी वाला भी गया तो कौन आएगा, उसके बाद भी कौन आएगा। Everybody has got their own rocket systems, their own missiles, their own target systems, and decentralized. So ये नहीं है कि वॉर गेम में जैसे हम टीवी में देखते हैं। इंसिडेंटली आदि आई नेवर कम ऑन टीवी, आई नेवर कम ऑन टीवी बिकॉज आई फील जो मुझे बोलना था, अपनी पॉलिसीज, अपने रिकमेंडेशन, वो मैंने अपनी सर्विस में बोल दिया। आई डोंट वांट टू वॉर गेम इन ऑन टीवी, वो सैंड मॉडल बना के कि ये करना चाहिए, वो होगा, ये होगा, नहीं। आई थिंक very wise people are sitting in uniform, very learned people are sitting in our defense forces who are taking the right decisions and as per the right technology and their vision. So I don't go on TV, but टीवी के ऊपर बैठ के जब ये बातें होती हैं तो उसमें कई चीजें नहीं निकल के आती, which I am trying to share with you. So this 31 Irans on their own, कोई वहां पे कमांड पोस्ट नहीं बनी हुई है, एक सेंट्रल मैप ईरान का नहीं बना हुआ है कि अच्छा अभी तुम ये फेंको, अब तुम ये फायर करो, अब तुम ये करो। People have been trained to operate on their own. People have been told to take out which targets. The when is also left to them within broad guidelines. So I think it's an excellent decentralization जो 30-31 दिन के बाद भी आज जमा हुआ है. It is because of this anticipation. और अगर इसने जो नेक्स्ट फेज है अगर ये लंबा चला और इसने बाबल मंडप में हूथी को छोड़ दिया, अभी तक सिर्फ 2 मिसाइल्स फायर किए हैं हूथीज ने 3 दिन पहले, दोनों रास्ते में ही they were taken down. So Houthis have not shown their hand. They are allowing the concentration of forces in the Arabian Sea. They are allowing the concentration of forces in the Middle East and are keeping quiet. वो हाथ अभी खुला नहीं है. वहां पे ऑलरेडी क्या डंप हो रखा है, क्या क्या उनके पास है, क्या क्या उनकी ट्रेनिंग है, कब उनको रिलीज का गो बोला जाएगा, वी वी डोंट नो. पर होगा, वो होगा. अगर ये टॉक्स फेल हो गई तो होगा. And now let me just recap the present situation. We have got one carrier battle group which after the fire and the other problems has gone for a refit to Crete in Mediterranean Sea. Second जो कैरियर था वो पहले 300 किलोमीटर था, अब वो 1000 किलोमीटर दूर हो गया फ्रॉम द ईरान कोस्ट. द टू विच आर कमिंग ट्रिपोली एंड बॉक्सर, और एक तो जापान साइड से आ रही है और रास्ते में है, एंड वन इज इन बिगो गार्शिया एंड इट इज कमिंग अप. दे हैव गॉट कैपेबिलिटी ऑफ एम्फिबियन लैंडिंग्स. दे कैन कैरी टैंक्स, infantry combat vehicles, and they are able to have the wherewithal to do the beach landings. But again, I am referring to my earlier statement. Beach kahan hai? Iran has got a very rugged coastline. So agar kuch hua, in my assessment, it is going to be a combination of airborne and attempted beach landings without crossing the Hormuz, or force crossing attempted with great casualties. और बीच में भी अगर वो 20-30 किलोमीटर आगे जाकर लैंड के रिवर्स आते हुए क्लीन करते हुए बीच तक नहीं आते टू लिंक अप विच एवर आइलैंड एयरबोर्न से अगर कैप्चर होता है, तो विदाउट दैट लिंक अप यू आर गिविंग योर सेल्फ अवे टू मास कैजुअलिटीज. एंड इफ पीपल आर थिंकिंग कि 5,000-2,500 एक में है, 2,500 दूसरे में है, 7,000 वहां से आ जाएंगे, 10-12,000 में आप ईरान कैप्चर कर लोगे, तो इट्स अ बिग मिस्टेक. 1,000 किलोमीटर की तो उसकी सिर्फ शोर लाइन है. It's got number of islands, and the islands which are there also, Abu Musa, Greater Lesser Thumb. No, Greater Lesser Thumb is the channel जिसके बीच में से ये सारा ऑयल शिपिंग जाती है. And contrary to what people think, it is inside the. It's not in the Arabian Sea. It is in the Persian Gulf. It is towards UAE. It is very closer to UAE, but not close to Oman. So the geographical location is favoring Iran. इन दोनों को कैप्चर भी कर लिया, और उसके पीछे है अबू मूसा, उसको भी कैप्चर कर लिया, और आगे वालों को अगर छोड़ भी दिया, केशम एंड ये जो बाकी हैं, it's not a very clean control of state of Hormuz. So you are looking at large number of body bags in case this is attempted. Now, decision is Americans. और अमेरिकन को भी मालूम है, अगर मैं यहाँ से अभी बिना किसी डील के हट गया तो वापस नहीं आ सकता, और अगर मैं हट गया और वापस नहीं आ सकता तो मेरे पेट्रो डॉलर की कहानी खत्म. फिर युआन चलेगा, रुपी चलेगा, पाउंड चलेगा, डॉलर इस एरिया में नहीं चलेगा। सेकेंडली, मेरा जो मार्केट है वेपन्स का वो डाउन हो जाएगा। तीसरा, जो मेरा इन्वेस्टमेंट ऑलरेडी हो रखा है, बिलियंस एंड बिलियंस ऑफ डॉलर्स in buildings and other infrastructure which has been sunk by American companies, ये निकालना मुश्किल हो जाएगा। So stake is of trillions of dollars. America can't just say कि चलो साइन करते हैं और चलते हैं। There is a lot at stake, and I'm sure it is being bargained within USA a lot. But Iran ने मुश्किल की हुई। Iran has played its cards better than what people expected. इसके अलावा जो what Trump is doing right now is he's delaying, पहले 48 आवर्स का दिया कि मान जाए शायद, फिर 5 डेज का दे दिया ब्रेक, ओके सोचने का टाइम देता हूँ, फिर 10 दिन का और दे दिया। Why? When you are not changing the terms and condition of the 15-point program. I told you, Adi, I have got notes of everything which are handmade. Right? I have got pages and pages of notes of everything which is there. और ये 15 पॉइंट प्रोग्राम भी मेरे पास, ये जो पॉइंट्स हैं उनके और उनके काउंटर जो पॉइंट्स हैं,
Sir,
you
you'll have to
know
keep the paper away from the speaker, sir. It's creating a lot of disturbance.
Adi, you are a professional. I am enjoying being with you and discussing something very relevant. So ये जो पॉइंट्स हैं कोई चेंज नहीं हुआ, वही पॉइंट जो पहले इन्होंने दिए थे जिनीवा में, वही पॉइंट्स हैं। न्यूक्लियर बंद कर दो, हमारी बातें मान लो, सब कुछ हमारे को हैंड ओवर कर दो। बट एंड ईरान के भी वही पॉइंट्स हैं। गिव अस कंपनसेशन फॉर ऑल द डैमेजेस यू हैव कॉज्ड। हम उसको दोबारा कैसे बनाएंगे? हमारे पैसों से बनाएंगे, और बाकी शर्तें हैं। सो ये टाइम गेन हो रहा है नाउ, 10 days more. It is basically to get the house in order, to get the ships in place, to get the airbornes moved up, to get the weapons of Israel, air defense of the UAE and Qatar and all replenished. और वर्ल्ड की सप्लाई बड़ी कम है, उठा उठा के ला रहे हैं साउथ कोरिया से, जापान से, बाकी जगह से कि यहाँ पे चाहिए। अब इसके बीच में आई हैव गॉट टू अगेन, पर्सनली माई थिंकिंग, आई मे बी टोटली रॉन्ग, ये जब आप सब कुछ निकाल के यहाँ ले आओगे और अगले 1 महीने तक ये सब कुछ यहाँ पर रखोगे या 1 साल के लिए रखोगे जब तक स्टेलमेट चल रहा है, you are creating 2 vulnerabilities globally. One is Taiwan. China gets an opportunity to take over Taiwan with lesser resistance in Pacific. तो सब कुछ तो यहाँ आ गया। एंड आपने वेनेजुएला कर दिया तो रास्ता भी दिखा दिया, और चाइना नहीं करता तो एज इट इज उसका ऑयल का चक्कर चल ही रहा है। He will now start controlling the semiconductor market through Taiwan. Second vulnerability is the interesting young nation which is Ukraine. Now, Ukraine has realized कि अमेरिका से अब पैसे मिलने वाले नहीं है। क्लेवर पीपल, गुड पीपल, उनको पता लग गया है कि नाउ अमेरिका हैज नो चॉइस बट अपने जो इक्के हैं वो उन्होंने मिडल ईस्ट में डालने हैं, अदरवाइज द फ्यूचर अमेरिका का खतरे में। सो डोंट एक्सपेक्ट एनीथिंग फ्रॉम यूएसए। नाटो पहले ही अलग हो गया, यूएसए इज गोइंग टू, मेरे हिसाब से, लीव नाटो एनी टाइम। सो यूक्रेन ने क्या किया है, इट हैज नाउ सेंड इट्स एम्बेसडरीज, इट हैज गॉन टू द मिडल ईस्ट कंट्रीज कि मैं हूं ना, मैं वॉर हार्डन्ड हूं, मेरे पास मैन्युफैक्चरिंग है ड्रोन्स की और एंटी ड्रोन्स की, तुम मेरे से ले लो वेतन, मुझे पैसे दे दो, यू बिकम माई न्यू सोर्स ऑफ फंडिंग and I will supply you with the drones and anti-drones and some other stuff. So this is the second vulnerability America has created for itself. by agreeing to the Israel attacking of Iran when it was not required. ठीक ठाक चल रहा था, सब कुछ ठीक चल रहा था, एज लॉन्ग एज वो अपना न्यूक्लियर ग्रेड दे देते सामान, तो ठीक ठाक चल रहा था, पता भी नहीं लगता इतनी वो मिसाइल्स वगैरह पड़ी हुई हैं। पर अब हो गया तो हो गया, अब आगे क्या होगा? UN is a defunct organization, in my opinion. So all the years which India has wasted in wooing countries कि जब वो UN सिक्योरिटी काउंसिल की वोटिंग होगी तो मेरे को वोट दे देना, उसकी जरूरत नहीं है। इंडिया, we'll discuss it separately someday. India should lose interest in becoming once again पुराने टाइम का नॉन अलाइंड मूवमेंट का लीडर। Things have changed. The geopolitics globally has changed. Now, whether it will remain multipolar or unipolar, we will come to know in next few months. But UN is defunct, and मिडल ईस्ट के अंदर अभी क्या होगा ये अभी हम डिस्कस करते हैं। अगर नाटो और ताइवान हो जाता है और मिडल ईस्ट remains a long drawn battle, then what will happen in Africa, Latin America? These are the next two targets of colonization, just like 1800s and 1900s. For the rare earth, for the mineral, for cheap manpower, for whatever. Big countries are going to pump in money to make these as the new manufacturing bases. And these countries have to assess कि मेरे पास ऐसी क्या चीज है जो बिकाऊ है, जो खरीदार आ जाएंगे। ये neglected continents are going to be back in demand. And Russia is sitting pretty. They are content. ऑयल बढ़ेगा, रशिया को फायदा है। यूएसए से नाटो का टूटेगा, ऑल दिस नाटो विल गो बैक टू रशिया एंड से भैया हमें दोबारा अपनी ऑयल गैस की वो पाइपलाइन चलाओ, वी नीड इट फ्रॉम यू, एंड ही विल से मैं 10% डिस्काउंट भी देता हूँ एंड स्टिल मेक ह्यूज अमाउंट ऑफ मनी। एंड द थ्रेट ऑफ नाटो, जिसकी वजह से यूक्रेन स्टार्ट हुआ था, वो भी कम हो जाएगा। नाटो विल नॉट बी इंटरेस्टेड in fighting others' wars, as is being shown now. The British Prime Minister has also said, initially after agreeing to something, Spain has already said, Germany has said, other countries are coming up, Scandinavian countries are coming up, कि हमने आपकी लड़ाई में हिस्सा नहीं लेना भाई, ये it's got nothing to do with us. So if USA के साथ nothing to do है, so naturally NATO एनर्जी उसको चाहिए, सस्ती एनर्जी, चाहे उसको ईरान से मिले या रशिया से मिले, ultimately it has to look after its own electorate. So, Adi, are we done or we have some time?
I think we can end this one and pick it up in the next round, sir, because it's already close to an hour. Yeah.
Okay. So what I'll like to stop in a minute is that three things have happened. Number one, Iran has shocked the world, especially USA, कि मेरे अंदर दम है, and I am ready to take you on for more time. Number two, USA has no choice but to exit at a very graceful manner, either with a deal or with all-out attack. जो ऑर्डर देता है वो कभी नहीं मरता. Remember this: the American elections are due this year, so he has to be careful about his electorate and the way diplomats and Republicans are going to view this entire Middle East. Third thing is, oil price hike is here to stay. Whichever side wins, Iran wins, USA wins, stalemate is there. ये Strait of Hormuz is going to be the latest टोल टैक्स गेट. जो जहां जाएगा जाएगा, टोल टैक्स देगा, किसको देगा, दैट इज टू बी डिसाइडेड ओवर नेक्स्ट 6 months. but it will be there, right? And finally, the state of the cities of Middle East comes into uh, a lot of scrutiny. Their future has to be reshaped by themselves. They are good people, rich people. I've been to many of these countries, and I find the governments very positive towards people. इस समय जीपीएस नहीं चल रहा दुबई में. You can't call a taxi. Because टैक्सी को पता नहीं है आप कहाँ खड़े हो. लेकिन एयरपोर्ट के ऊपर वो फ्रिज मैग्नेट्स दे रहे हैं. Have a good will. This will pass. You will come back. We will look after you. They have said कोई कीमत नहीं बढ़ने देंगे. Even if we have to pay from the government. तो ये चीजें हो रही है इंडिया में भी. We have reduced the excise duty. I think a great step. कि इलेक्शन चल रहे हैं वो अलग बात है, बट इट्स अ ग्रेट स्टेप. द कॉमन मैन महंगाई के अंदर टूट जाता अगर हम 10-20 रुपए उसको बढ़ा देते. बट दैट, एज यू सेड, वी विल डिस्कस सम अदर टाइम. थैंक यू सो मच, आदि.
Thank you, sir.
वी हैव डिस्कस्ड वेरी डिफरेंट थिंग्स टुडे.
Thank you so much, sir. And to the audience, my simple request is please, like and subscribe and share this with your friends and families. And of course, if you can, please do, support the channel as well. Check out the description for
Please
further
support the
details.
channel. Please support the channel.
Thank you.
It's
Namaskar.
the
Jai Hind.
best channel I've seen.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Namaskar. Jai Hind. Jai Bharat.